As the world continues to become crazier by the day, so many people are left being fearful, angry, uncertain, and frustrated. Most of what is going on are completely not our fault and is out of our control. Unfortunately, it is impossible to not get sucked into it all, and all of those emotions built up can lead us to question if it's even worth continuing doing what we do anymore. We find ourselves struggling to find the motivation to keep going, and it can really mess with us. I thought this was the perfect time to address the need for my motivation to keep going, and got a great question from a massage therapist that is in that struggle. The question was, I used to love what I do, and I got into this profession to help people, but lately I find myself struggling to keep going, and in all honesty, my give a damn is busted. Do you have any advice or motivation to get over this and keep pushing? In this episode, I break down the components of motivation, share my own struggles I have dealing with the chaos in the world, and most importantly, give some strategies to help connect you back with finding your purpose. I hope you enjoy the show. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Revolution podcast, where we teach massage therapists a new treatment method that focuses on working smarter, not harder, allowing them to make well over $100,000 per year with less than 20 hours of time per week in the clinic. Dr. Matt Maggio here. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to the podcast and downloading that and following my content and really giving me the motivation to continue to share this information, because at the end of the day, the only way we're going to solve the pain pill problem is cleaning up the conservative care model and making quality soft tissue practitioners the primary go-to for that. So back at it for, like I said, my favorite segment, the Q&A, where you send me questions and I try my best to answer them the best that I can. It could be on business, it could be on delivering treatment, it could be on communication, it could really just be on how to get your ass in gear and get focused and doing the right things. And this week I got a really good question. It was actually off a comment on one of my videos a few weeks ago. And let me reread the question. I used to love what I do, and I got into this profession to help people. But lately I find myself struggling to keep going. And in all honesty, my give a damn is busted. Do you have any advice or motivation to get over this and keep pushing? It's a great question. So I want to dive into this a little bit more. Let's just start with the current landscape of what's going on. There's just so much bullshit going on in the world. There's trouble with money, the economy, prices are going up, inflation's up, lots of fear between disease and uncertainty and war. Even more uncertainty. That leads to a lot of anger and a lot of frustration. People are just wound really tight, and these last 2 years have just been a just clusterfuck of so many things, and it's really starting to spill over, and we're really starting to see it. And people are struggling, and they're struggling every day, and especially people that are doing good work. They've busted their ass to build up a business and build up a practice, and there's a lot of factors outside of their control that they are getting sucked into, and it really, really sucks. So let me dive in first about the idea and the need for motivation. You know, you see this all the time. There's even a day on social media called Monday Motivation, where you watch these rah-rah videos and you get fired up and you're ready to go and you want to run through a wall and take on the rest of the world and just be amazing. And, you know, people are always constantly searching for this like external motivation to get up and do what they're doing. And that's something that's really problematic in the world as well. You know, if you need that constant motivation, you can't get fired up to do the things that you want to do to help people, then maybe you're just doing the wrong thing and you're not in where you should be. You know, like I used to be like that too. Like I need that rah rah, like, hey, fire me up and watch this video and they're going to scream at me and yell at me and play, you know, headbanger music and I'm gonna be ready to go. And I found myself having, you know, I'd get motivation for like Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, but then by Thursday or Friday, I'm right back into it. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to keep going. And then come again on Monday, I'd have to do that motivation again. So if you find yourself needing that motivation, it might be time to kind of question if you're even in the right field and you're really doing the things that you need to do. So I have my own struggles. We all have struggles. And anyone that says that they're not struggling is completely full of shit and they're just lying. And so many people do that on social media. They put up the best version of their lives, but they don't really share that. Now, you do have the other people that go a little bit too far on the other side with too much vulnerability, too much sharing of over emotions, and just spewing out all this stuff. Everyone has struggles, and it's good to share them. I think a good quote from somebody was like, share your scars, but don't share your wounds. And yeah, I struggle with stuff too. One is, I do it, and we all do it, is worrying about shit that's out of my control. Like, there's so many things that are out of my control. The economy, the weather, what other people do. And I practice this ancient philosophy, and it's been amazing for me. I've been practicing it now for like 10 years. It's called Stoicism. It's created, thousands of years ago. And basically the whole caveat behind Stoicism is the only thing that's truly in your control are your thoughts and your actions. And when you start to think about that, you're like, man, I spend a lot of time worrying about things that are completely out of my control. So when I find myself doing that, worrying about things that I can't change, I go back to my Stoic roots. I do some reading and I do some stuff like that and be like, hey, at the end of the day, man, all you can control is your thoughts and your actions. Another thing that we end up doing is we fight human nature. People are going to be people. I'm the worst at that. I'm like, oh man, I wish this person would just be this way. Why aren't they motivated? Why are they lazy? Why don't they take care of themselves? Like, at the end of the day, humans are really complex and really fucking weird, and it's built into our DNA. And if you really try to fight human nature, it's just going to mess with you. You wish people would do things differently. You wish that circumstances were different. But at the end of the day, humans are going to be humans. They're going to be fearful. They're going to have biases. They're going to be short-sighted. They're going to be cheap on things. They're going to look for shortcuts. And understanding that this happens and trying to fight it will really put you in a bad place. So at the end of the day, just accept human nature, how it is. One of the most amazing books, I'm on like my 15th read of it, is The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Go in and read that, and it'll really help you understand when people are being like biased, they're being envious, they're being narcissistic. And it'll really help you understand when you're being that way too, because human nature is part of all of us and you can't run from it. So what to do if you give a damn's busted, like this person said. I think that's like a country song. I'm not quite sure. First is just start by checking in with your why. We all got into this for a certain reason, because I think we wanted to help people. I did. That was my thing when I was like, hey, you know what? I want to help people. I want to help people along the journey, help them get better. And we're really excited about that when it first starts, but then life just kind of hits us and kicks us in the ass. And there's so many other things involved in that, especially running a business, dealing with shit that isn't in your control, like the government shutting shit down, like the economy being bad. It really just piles on. And then you really put distance between your why. So maybe check in with your why. And there's 3 types of motivation. One is just extrinsic motivation. Those are like things that are outside of us, maybe money, things that we want to buy. A lot of people are extrinsically motivated. They're like, I want more money. I want to go on vacations. I want a new car. And yeah, that stuff's good, and it'll keep you going, and it will motivate you, but it won't motivate you long term. The next one is just internal motivation, getting freedom for yourself, getting respect for what you do, and being the best version of yourself. That's a little bit more powerful than extrinsic motivation. And then the last one is just moral motivation. What does that mean? Helping mankind, like truly making a difference and helping mankind. This is the one that originally where your why might have been. It might have been there. Like, hey, I want to help people. I don't want people to end up on pain pills and surgeries and injections. I want to be able to help heal them naturally and just be part of that. And that's where most people struggle, because they were there, but then they get sucked in by the internal and the extrinsic problems that are out there, and it can really fuck with you on a whole different level. So what should you do if your give a damn's busted and you're really struggling? Number one is figure out if you can find one of those moral purposes, or connect back in there again with that moral purpose of like truly wanting to help people, give without the expectation of receiving back. And understand that if you're really just being more extrinsic and internal motivation, it's not going to last. And you're going to continue to have to get yourself excited to do that, because there are things that really don't bring you joy or true purpose. You can have money. Money's great. Money helps, but it's not giving you that true motivation each day. So try to find out if you can get yourself back to that moral purpose and really helping mankind be better, because we fucking need it right now, because the world is just in this chaos type of place. In all honesty, if you can't find that, then you probably should quit. And that's okay. I made a podcast about this, about why you should quit. Maybe you should, because you've lost it. You've lost that feeling of really having that purpose and truly helping people. Number 2, focus on yourself. We worry so much about what everyone else is doing. We don't really focus internally about what's going on and how we show up in life. I don't remember if it was Gandhi or the Buddha, one of those people, but they said, be the change in yourself that you want the rest of the world to be. Like, really start focusing on yourself, like what you put in your brain, what you put in your body, how you take care of yourself. You know, so many people have let their health and their mental wellness just go to shit during this time. And then they start to blame everything else out there and all these other circumstances. Instead, look internally and be like, how can I show up better and be the change that I want to be? Number 3, get back to challenging yourself. You know, so many people are stuck in this trap of just comfort, kind of going through the motions. You know, they've been doing it for so long, and they can basically do the treatment and they can do everything, not really having to think anymore, and they haven't been challenged. And when you're comfortable, it really leads to mediocrity. And nothing is worse than mediocrity, because it just fucks with you on so many levels. So get back to challenging yourself, like figuring out problems. Next one, number 4, change how you do things. I talk about this all the time. Are you a service provider? Or are you a solutions provider? Become a solutions provider, someone that can actually fix problems and solves problems. Be a problem solver, because at the end of the day, the world needs more problem solvers. And you're just going through the motions, and the body and your mind and, you know, the universe and what they say knows that you're just kind of phoning it in and just kind of coasting. And when you do that, you don't have any of that true moral helping mankind stuff. You're just going through the motions, and you're stuck, and your body's like, and your mind is like, I don't want to do this anymore, because you're not challenging yourself anymore. As humans, we need struggle. We need to be pushed, because that's what grows. And on the other side of something usually uncomfortable is something really amazing. So get yourself back to being a little bit uncomfortable and figure out how to do things differently, how to change how you approach things. Like I always say, can you do it faster? Can you do it more effective? Can you do it better than anyone else out there? If not, push yourself, because when you have that struggle and you have that challenge, it'll really light you up inside. So I kind of wanted to close this up with the idea of purpose. You know, we hear this idea of like purpose. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? Everyone wants to find their purpose. One of my favorite quotes by the late and great Nipsey Hussle is, find your purpose or you're wasting air, but fuck it, you're probably just scared. So that's a big one there. You know, a lot of people are struggling because they're not doing their purpose. So everyone's like, well, I got to find my purpose. What is my purpose? I don't know what it is. You might not be able to figure that out right away, and it might not come to you when you're ready for it, but it's going to be there eventually. So one thing I got was a really good quote from Seth Godin. He writes a lot of good books, but he says this idea of, you don't always have to be doing your purpose, but you must be purposeful about how you do it. Think about that. You don't always have to be doing what your true purpose is, but you have to be purposeful about how you do it. And that's the whole idea of like always giving your best. So closing it up, there's a big opportunity to change things and get the life in business that you deserve. You're still here when so many other people quit. I see this all the time, where all these people on LinkedIn that used to be massage therapists, now they're doing something else. A lot of people quit, and there's still a big need for people needing this care and needing this treatment. So don't give up. You got through the shit. It's going to be some shit for a while longer, but changing how you show up, changing how you prepare, changing what you do, how you solve problems will start to challenge you again. It'll ignite your why and your purpose, and you'll be amazed at how you don't need those external motivations anymore. You can just show up and do really amazing fucking work and help people along the journey. There's always a need for people solving problems. The world needs more problem solvers. In all honesty, I can show you and I can teach you how to do that, but you have to take some action and get moving. So we just revamped our whole entire website. with our continuing education courses, revamped the free training, and I even have a certification process coming out. And if you're stuck, you're struggling, you're not loving what you do anymore, it might be time for a change, and change how you do things, how you show up, and how you become a better practitioner. All the links for that are in the show notes. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We're getting downloads from all over the world. It continues to motivate me to do this because I want to help more people and help them along the journey to find their purpose so they can help more people. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you want help on the path to being able to double your income, all while working 50% less and being taken seriously as a healthcare provider, I have some great resources for you. Number one, get access to our free training modules and introduction to my system, the Peak Method. Number two, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Soft Tissue Revolution. Links to all of this can be found in the show notes. Lastly, if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star review and share it with others that you know it could help.